Alright, how to tune a handpan. Perfect. So here we are in the start of the process after shaping. We have loosened the note, made it to like approximately where we want it. It's in A3. And when it comes to hammering, there's no exact way of doing it. There's no golden standard, and you have to be prepared to spend some years with your hammer. This is going to be your best friend. This is going to be millions and millions of strokes before you have learned your way of tuning a handpan. Because there's not one way of tuning a handpan. There's not a way that can be taught from me to you, from another handpan maker to another handpan maker, saying like, if you hit here, this is going to happen. If you hit here, this is going to happen. This is a dance with the hammer and the metal and you. And you must learn all things that can happen with all the different kind of strokes, and with how it was shaped from the start, the note, what kind of metal you're using, what kind of temperatures you've been using. Everything affects what's going to happen when you hit with the hammer. So of course there's some fundamental strokes that you can learn. For example, on the long axis, if you hit around here and around here, from the top side of the handpan, you will most time raise the 12th. It's going to get higher if you hit around here and around here. And there's also, if you hit from the top on the short axis, on this kind of area, you will most times lower the 5th. On the other side, you turn it around and hit from the shallow side, you will have the opposite. That if you hit around here on the long axis in this area, you will lower the 12th. And we hit here on the short axis, most times it's gonna raise the 5th. So, but in the same time, when you hit all this area and you raise the 5th, it's gonna affect the 12th, and the 12th is gonna get lower at the same time as you get the 5th higher. So you have to compensate for this many times, because maybe you have a 12th that is already in a good position, but the 5th is low, and then you go ahead, hammer around the 5th to raise it, and all of a sudden the 12th is too low. Then maybe you have to raise the 5th extra much to then go back, making the 12th higher, and then at the same time the 5th is going to go down a little bit, because everything affects everything.
So this was supposed to be a how-to video, but we find out that it is not that easy. So instead we try to make a video on how to learn
how to make.
How to learn how to make. So why exactly is that?
Because, Stefan, it's impossible to make a how to tune a handpan video, because that would be most of all confusing, and maybe someone would try out all the techniques that I would show, and they would get a really slow education, because educating yourself on making a handpan is the only way, and you have to be flexible and try everything out. And if you would try to use a golden standard, that would actually not get the same result every time, because there's so many details that decide what's going to happen with the note. If it's from the shaping, it's from the annulating, the heating process, which material you use, the loosening of the note, the first step of the tuning, and finally the fine tuning, going through many times of tuning. Like I'm tuning the handpan maybe 5 or 6 times before gluing. Sometimes only 3, 4. But everything's gonna affect everything, and there's small details, and those you can find out on the internet, how to tune a handpan if you go to forums and stuff, like where to hit to get a certain effect, raising or lowering the note, or raising the 5th, or lowering the 5th, raising the 12th, or lowering the 12th.
So if you would have one tip or trick to give us, what would be the most valuable one?
The most valuable trick
Yeah.
would be to be prepared to learn patience.
Patience.
Yes, you have to learn to be really patient, because that's what you're gonna need the most when you're starting your journey on learning how to tune a handpan. Okay, so we are the handpan is glued. We're taking away the glue that's outside the border and grind it down a little bit. So now we come to the fine tuning, first fine tuning after the gluing. It's gonna be one of at least 3 tuning. There's so many different ways to do it, and it's all depending on what do you want, how do you want it to sound. So my technique here is mostly going around the rim and doing some sliding strokes towards the middle of the note field. This is how I'm going to lower it. We have a B3 note. We have a low octave, a little bit high 5th, and a really high fundamental. Let's go. It's important to hammer out any false tension in the note field. I do it with a rubber ball on the metal stick. I hit it hard. I rub it a little bit with paper, wait a little bit, and still high. So here we have in a situation where the tuning machine, the Linotune, is showing either 13 cent high on the fifth, or perfect every second time or something. So here I just have to figure it out. Try to listen to the keyboard. Can't really rely on the tuning machine in all every time, because you can get some extra frequencies from the tuning or the rim of the handpan, where it's sounding together with the note, and it can be because of how you put the magnet rings. If you put them all over the note field, or you put them on the side of the note field, or you just have to hold them with the hand, everything can change. Some sense up or down on the note field that you're working with. So you have to be flexible and patient, and very flexible. Try everything around, feel, put them differently. This is valuable information. So I'm gonna leave it here, and then go back to it after tuning all the others and see how they sound together. We go to the next one. A D4. We go in. In this first and second and third tuning, here you can find out the small difference between, if you see on the tuning machine, +1, +1, +1. Depending on how you separate the fundamental and the octave, it's gonna make a lot of define the sound of the note. If you get it crispy or ceramic, or the bell of the sound, that you can do a lot with raising or highering the octave and the fifth, and the relations between these three. So of course you can put everything on 0, make it perfect. That's gonna make one sound. If you separate it, it's gonna make another sound. like to listen to the notes together. And see how does it sound together. Alright, we tune 3 notes.